Here's what's coming up on today's show.
There's more up years than down years, but we certainly do have clients that retire in a down year. Clients that retired in 2008, 2009 certainly had a different experience than they did in 2010 or 2011.
Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Now, let's talk about something serious here, and this having to do with folks and their retirement planning. Well, let's call this segment of our show Two Truths and a Lie. Sounds like a game show, doesn't it?
It does.
Identify the lie in this game of Two Truths and a Lie. All right? I'm going to tell you three things here. You tell me which two are true and which one is a lie. All right. First of all, stocks typically do a good job of outpacing inflation over time. Gold typically maintains its value relative to inflation over time. Bonds typically thrive in an inflationary environment. What are the two truths and which one is the lie, Mark?
Well, the first one, the stocks do the best job of outpacing inflation over time, in my opinion. Gold typically maintains its value. I would say that tends to be true, although gold historically hasn't done as well as stocks over time. And then bonds thrive in inflation. I'd say that would be the lie. Bonds don't typically do well with inflation because you're owning a fixed rate, and the rate of inflation is increasing. So your actual real rate of return, which is the rate of the interest rate of the bond minus the inflationary rate, is your actual real rate of return, which is not going to be helped by increasing inflation.
Okay, all of those two truths and a lie are related to inflation. Let's move on to interest rates. Again, two truths and a lie. You tell me what it is. Rising interest rates will hurt borrowers. Rising interest rates will hurt savers. Rising interest rates will hurt lenders. What are the truths and which one is the lie?
Well, rising interest rates definitely hurt borrowers because they're paying more interest. Rising interest rates, as far as hurting savers, that typically is actually false. Mm-hmm. So that would be the one there. And then because, savers, if you're having higher interest rates, that hurts you. That because if you have a bond that's at 3% and then interest rates rise to 4%, now your bond's worth less because you could get 4 and your bond's only paying 3. Mm-hmm. Rising interest rates will hurt lenders. That definitely does not hurt lenders. That helps lenders because they can charge a higher interest rate.
Sure. Okay. So, two truths and a lie. Thank you very much for interpreting that. Let's talk about an emergency fund. You tell me again, two truths and a lie. Your emergency fund should be safe from loss. Your emergency fund should be growing. Or your emergency fund should be easily liquid. What's the lie in there?
Well, the first one's definitely true. Your emergency fund should be safe from loss. It should be in a place where you can't lose. Emergency fund should be growing. Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be growing. It's nice if it does grow a little bit. But it's hard to get it in something that grows if you can't if it can't have a loss. So it has to be safe, which means it can't grow. And then emergency funds should be easily liquid. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for.
Yeah,
you need to get to it right away.
Yeah, emergency funds should be in a place where it's easy, you can get to without fees and taxes or penalties. Exactly.
Okay, moving on to market crashes. That's a typical topic on financial shows all over the place. But you tell me what are the two truths and which one is the lie? A market crash right after you retire is much less problematic than a market crash while you're in your 80s. A market crash is largely irrelevant for someone who just started saving. A market crash can be a great opportunity for investors. Where's the lie?
I would say the first one, a market crash right after you retire, can be an issue because you're just starting to withdraw from your account. Not saying that could, derail your retirement. If you haven't done the proper planning, it certainly can. Yeah. But things happen. People retire. We can't control when the market's up or down the year that you retire. But retiring, if it happens in your 80s, you tend to have more, probably more bonds in that portfolio, so you could withstand a market crash, and you're towards the end of that of your life cycle versus early on. If you're just started saving, then a market crash really doesn't hurt you at all. In fact, it helps you if you're putting money in and the market takes a hit. You're investing and buying low. And same thing with the second one or third one. A market crash is a great opportunity because you're buying more shares.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And of course, even that first one, a market crash right after you retire is much less problematic than a market crash while you're in your 80s. You said, that one was...
It's much more problematic, not less.
Yeah,
that's the lie.
And you need to make sure that you have planned properly in order to...
Correct, because it does happen. I mean, we don't... there's more up years than down years, but we certainly do have clients that retire in a down year. Clients that retired in 2008, 2009 certainly had a different experience than they did in 2010 or 2011. So...
Okay, one more I wanted to ask you about here, and this is, again, a common topic on this show, Social Security. The Social Security Trust Fund is estimated to run out of money by the year 2034. Social Security full retirement age isn't the same for everyone. And Social Security is likely to stop paying benefits within the next 15 to 20 years. What are the two truths and which one is the lie?
The Social Security Trust Fund is estimated, I believe it is 2034. If you look at your statement, that's kind of what they're thinking. Will that happen? I doubt it, because the government can and will print money and they will change the rules. Full retirement age right now is 67. I estimate it to be, down the road, maybe 70 to 75 at some point, because they can keep moving that needle as people live longer, that sort of thing. Social Security full retirement isn't the same age for everyone. Yes, some people full retirement age was 65. Other people, it's between 65 and 67. And then for everybody else, including myself, currently it's 67 is full retirement age. So that one's true. Social Security is supposed to stop. It will likely run out of benefits in the next 15 to 20 years. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that would be the lie. It's not going to run out of money. The government will shift money and print money and that sort of thing. So it won't run out of money. As far as what that money's worth with inflation is a different story, but it's not going to run out of money.
And politicians do love getting reelected.
They do. So. Exactly. Exactly.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601, or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.